Good morning, Australia. You've come straight from church and now you're going to go on your knees and bow down to the big man, the big bison. If Australia's going to win a game in this World Cup, Pezza, it's got to be from a big man that resembles a big bison. Oh, what an innings that was. Just demolishes Bangladesh. Demolishes Bangladesh in a record run chase. It doesn't really matter. Australia's only ever lost one game in their history in ODI cricket to Bangladesh. And today was not going to be number two because the big bison makes us feel good on a Sunday morning. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know what you're saying, Higgins. Look, I like the way your head is rolling around there. I mean, that's what Bison does to you. You know, Australia's starting to warm up when there's a player plundering sixes off the front and back dog, and all the commentators want to talk about is how much he weighs.
Yeah.
Like, they return to the conversation 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
It'd be 100 kegs ringing wet. No, I think you're unders there.
Yeah, under.
Yeah, I think you've shaved 5 or 10 off.
I reckon it'd be a $1.20, wouldn't he?
Yeah. And that's how Australia likes to identify itself. That's when you know the going is good, when someone's on the front dog hitting over the top and the conversation is about the general sort of elements of their power vis-a-vis their weight.
Volume.
And volume measured in cubic.
That's right.
You know, haven't even got to his penis yet.
Yeah,
you know?
not yet.
So, yeah.
Well, the Great Cricket is brought to you by cricket.com. You can download the cricket.com app from the App Store where you download your apps. Generally speaking, you fucking idiot. That's where you download them from. Go and download the cricket.com app. It's not too late. There's still plenty happening in the World Cup. We're getting into the business end right now, and thank you to cricket.com for supporting TGC throughout this World Cup. If you've enjoyed our coverage so far, why not click subscribe? Why not? You know what? I actually don't want to know why not. Just do it. Just click subscribe to the channel. Support us as we move into the knockout stages of the World Cup. Pezza, first the 3 things today.
Bison power, basically. 177 red off 132. You're taking it before the game, aren't you?
Yes.
Look, for Australia here, easy to say in retrospect because I'm not sure it's exactly how it went, but I regard last night's game as a yawn and a stretch and a little trot around the track. Maybe some strides, for the thoroughbred there, easing into a gallop when needed, but don't get too sweaty.
Yeah. Didn't it feel fantastic after the game when Ponting's like, Australia didn't really get out of second gear?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Ricky.
I mean,
I feel amazing.
Australia hasn't chased 300 in 4 years. But these are the kind of narratives we're going to overlay over the top now that the World Cup's actually begun.
Yes, that's right. Australia would tune in for the World Cup.
What a nice preseason that was. Yeah. Now the big boys come to play.
Yeah, that's right. Time trials were good this year. Yeah. Everyone got a bit of a gallop in. I saw some blokes cramping up. That means it's pretty good. You get, pain is just weakness leaving the body,
2K time trial. Not a bad result for Australia. The season hasn't begun yet.
Yeah. We're getting our squad players in.
Yeah.
Maxi, record-breaking innings. One of the best things I've ever seen in my entire life. Cool your jets.
Yeah, that's right. Have a rest.
Yeah.
Have a spell.
Put your heels in some ice.
I swear Mitch Marsh barely got one off the square last night.
Yeah.
I just mean that he towed a lot of balls for 6.
Yeah.
And
he's strong, don't you?
Right.
Like an ox.
Tell me more.
Well, I like to equate him to wildebeest-like animals or just general animals in the Serengeti.
Who sort of flaunt themselves around there.
That's right. Yeah.
Serengeti-based animals.
A Serengeti-based animal. Where he can sort of, you can use adjectives like muscle. He muscled the ball, Jeez, he's a strong boy, isn't he? He'd be about $1.20, wouldn't he?
Drops the old axe on the ball there.
Yeah, that's right.
Just drops it.
Jeez, he's strong, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't actually speak about it without accessing some kind of guttural or like hissing type voice. Gee, strong. If it's getting to sort of the God of Kapoor.
Oh yeah. That's good. That's good.
So they had a little Italian at the end of their voice. I'm not sure how many compare to Mitch Marsh on a fast, flat track where if it's full, he's pounding you over your head for a zack, and if it's short, if you fix up your length, gone. Yeah, grunting.
Yes,
via pull shot.
I know he did sort of scrunt a few balls for 6 down the ground. But that's also what I quite like because
that's a good sign for us.
It's a good sign for the boys. Yeah. Because in Australia the grounds are just too big for that sort of thing. Especially if you think about like Adelaide where it's so long straight where you need to fucking middle it and then maybe it might go for 6. But around the world, there's more action happening with the vis-a-vis six hitting.
Yeah.
Just because you sort of can do that, can't you?
Yeah, he had so many opportunities to simply say, I didn't even get it, which is exactly the kind of attitude Australia wants.
Yep.
I think you could actually extrapolate that to be Australia's entire pre-season, which is what this World Cup has been. So it's like, I'm hitting sixes and I didn't even get it.
So he's hit 9 sixes and he's hit 177 of 132. Aptly supported by Warner and Smith, who, by the way, I thought they both looked awful. Smith and Warner. Smith finished at 63, Red off 64, 4 4s and a 6. Warner had 53 off 61 with 6 4s, 0 6s, so troubling signs there. That was before Travis Head was dismissed earlier trying to fucking launch one.
Back to Mumbai.
Exactly, yeah. Smith and Warner, I mean, it was just time of the crease. I suppose you can just bat round a guy who's hit 177 off 132, Red. I thought Smith and Warner looked fucking terrible. But, pre-season, centre wicket, job done.
While we're on the Aussies batting innings, just because it was something that happened, Warner's dismissal, anything? You like it?
When it happened, it's just in my head, the commentary from, who was the commentator? Who was the commentator in 99 when Herschel Gibbs did it? It was David Gower, and he said, Tony Greig says that should be out, and David Gower says, afraid not. The letter of the law says further disposal of the ball, something like that. Now, I'm having a drink with my partner on a Saturday night watching the cricket. That happens, and she's talking about something else. She's talking about like weekend plans, and I say, afraid not. The letter of the law. I start reciting that, and she's fucking looking at me like, you're an absolute moron, mate.
About the plans that she had?
I can live my life where the guy's just caught the ball, and then, like, David Warner hit the ball in the air, and then the Bangladeshi guy stopped it in the air with his hands.
Yeah.
And then
a different thing happened. It was a way of celebrating. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can live my life where it's like, no, that's just out. You're not allowed to do that as a batter. Hit it in the air and someone stops it in the air with their hands. Or as we saw, recently, a guy catching it off his back /arse in whatever league that was. I want to say European Cricket League. But unfortunately, we live in a game of laws and we want to roll around in that dog shit. So unfortunately, he cheated. That wasn't out.
It's so like that, isn't it? You just see, you're like, that's out.
Yeah,
that's out.
He just caught it.
What happens in life where like, if somehow Kettleborough sort of sees it, do you see the Aussie boys showing Kettleborough and they were like, up? Yeah, laughing. I don't know. I don't know if the fourth officials missed it or whatever. I mean, I agree with you. It's just out.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm thinking is, Warner's, finishing up his career shortly. Apparently, he's got a book coming out. I mean, why aren't you milking that from a spirit of cricket perspective?
Yeah.
Why isn't Warner saying like, no, I saw it. I took matters into my own hands. I did the right thing. Like the Lord's membership should be standing and applauding at this. I think sandpaper is now dissipated because of these opportunities. I mean, that's what the English were saying, weren't they?
Yes.
If Australia removed that dismissal, sandpaper goes away. Well, Warner's had a look at it. You can see that he double checks it and goes, no, he walks off.
I mean, as we all know, he's been a bastion of sportsmanship and integrity throughout his entire career.
Yeah.
And what we've seen, and that's just another great example as he farewells his home fans in India there.
Do you see Watto? Yeah, that's right. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. We got the first segment in. How does this relate to India? But it's coming up later as well. But yeah, did you hear Watto as well when they were showing the replay of the Aussies demonstrating it to Kettleborough? Watto's like, that's not funny if it's a semi-final.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Fuck, that's good.
That's right.
A bit of mist as well.
I like it. Yes, you want that from Watto. Warner Spirit of Cricket Award.
Yep.
We'll come back to the Smith Labuschagne question because there is one. I think he goes, we're Bangladesh in this. So I asked this because they're 2 for 170, plenty to go. They fuck it from there. Abbott bowls well, done. I saw a scenario yesterday. It didn't eventuate, right?
Yeah,
but people are now starting to say Australia is the only team that can knock India off, because of their pedigree and all this kind of stuff. Australia's still finding itself in a scenario yesterday where Bangladesh are like 170 for 2. That they've got out of the game against Afghanistan freakishly.
Yep.
Basically, they're 91 for 7 chasing Afghanistan's runs.
People were figuring out what does this mean for net run rate.
Exactly.
They have to win their last game.
They've been in so many scenarios where Australia's like, gee, they've got to work themselves out of trouble here.
Yeah.
It could easily have gone the other way. The scenario where they lose to Bangladesh, lose to Afghanistan, limp over the line against Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Australia even playing well this World Cup?
I think you said it in one of the last videos, just like, just a couple of the big boys to get the chest out and, someone does something really good.
Whose turn is it for the chest today?
Yeah. Like Maxwell plays literally the greatest ODI innings of all time. Mitch Marsh today just sort of gets his way to 177.
Yeah, that's right. Good deck.
Just sort of finds a way.
Comes off.
A couple of run-outs for Marnus in the first innings. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Smudges in. He's got a 60. Is he in form now?
It is funny because there are so many games where it feels like 3/4 of the team have underperformed.
Yep.
And 1/4 have just sort of disproportionately performed, and it's enough.
It's interesting because I thought Stark being rested was interesting because he's whilst he's got a great World Cup record and he had all those
He's been
games,
very poor this World Cup.
Yeah, yes, yeah, he's been unders. Still back him to put in a good performance.
Oh, that was a preseason.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to the listeners. Like, the competition begins now. It's a different competition, semi-finals.
Well, so we were just talking before, and we will be reviewing the England-Pakistan game later today, so that'll be also out in the channel. But just saying, like, you look at the table, and it's like, fucking it, you really have to fuck up not to make the semi-finals. Like, New Zealand's got themselves in a position where they've lost against India, South Africa, Australia, Pakistan. You're the fourth best team. In you go. And you go to a playoff now. It's like, I mean, Pakistan have absolutely fucked it as well. England obviously terrible, but they finished 7th. Afghanistan, tremendous tournament, breakout tournament, 6th.
Fourth is tallest dwarf.
Right.
4 of 10.
So, in Australia's performances, like, have they even played well? I just feel like literally often one guy has played really well. That's consistently been Zampa, who's kept them in the game in a lot of games. And then, sort of it's been pivoted around the batters. Travis Head's
Warner's been consistently good for the team. But Warner and Zampa have done the business.
Yeah.
And then it's like, let's hope one of the boys does something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mitch Marsh is 200s. He also missed a game. I mean, there's holes everywhere. There's holes everywhere in the side. But, Australia just have a good player and they'll be like, have a day out. Go on, have a day out.
Go on then. Hazelwood low-key good, 7 overs for 21, then rest up the old Bush horse as well.
Oh, yeah, put him back in the stable.
Nice. So, they're still guys. Yeah. I do hope the Aussies are creating a narrative of like, the competition begins now.
Yeah.
Well, we did enough.
Yeah, and you're playing South Africa in a semi-final.
It's a World Cup.
Okay, I'll tune in on Sunday night for the World Cup final where Australia will be playing.
Have Australia got out of bed this World Cup? Are they still in bed?
Like
Maybe they're sitting on the edge of the bed.
This is all a warm-up for the 5 T20s against India after
They're the big one.
The big one.
So let's just get to it for Australia. Well done, Bangladesh, by the way. A couple of guys scored some runs. All good, mate. The Champions Trophy, net run rate or some shit.
Yeah, good stuff, boys.
Well done. Semi-final selections for Australia. Australia, amazingly, at no stage through this tournament have had a full squad available to pick from.
Yes.
And they will go into the semi-final where, amazingly, I believe everybody will be available, barring someone falling off the back of a golf cart, vertigo, that kind of gear. And it looks like there is a question. What?
No, Vertigo, that kind of gear.
Yeah.
Just about the U2 album, Vertigo.
Indeed. Smith scores some runs today. Much needed, potentially.
Yeah.
Marnus created wickets in the field with 2 brilliant runouts. Should have had 3 if Sab had listened to him the last ball.
Yes.
And then you've got probably Marcus Stoinis in the mix there as well. 3 has to go into 2 in that situation.
Yes.
You've got to remember, Marnus missed the initial 18 for the World Cup.
Wasn't even near it.
And he's played every group game.
Yeah. They actively didn't want him in the team.
Yeah.
Because it was
he was
signified that if he was in the team, there's like, this isn't a World Cup winning team. Then he just kept scoring so many runs and then injuries, availabilities and whatnot. And the whatnot's an important factor in this as well.
What about the whatnot?
He actually missed out whatnot. But Dav
Watmore's stepson.
Fuck, that's niche.
That's like how Don Bradman's son changed his name to Bradson.
Bradson,
you know what I mean? Still close.
Dav Watmore's stepson. I'm not really sure how you get Cam Green into the side. I think like Stoinis has to play. Because I think he's like so key to the side in heaps of ways, like spiritually, but also his contribution in the field with the ball, and he's got a ceiling with the bat. Does the side look better with him in it? Probably. But at the same time, when they played Smith, Marnus, and Stoinis and Green didn't play, so they didn't play the all rounder. That also looked like a pretty good side, as in like a decent side. So. Yeah, those are 2
So you're playing Stoinis, so that means you're dropping one of Smith or Marnus.
Yeah, and I personally think that it should be Smith, but it won't be. That's not going. I mean, that's just like if I'm a selector, get me out of here.
Firstly,
You're just not making that call. You're not going to drop Steve Smith.
If you're a selector, I'll get you out of here. Would you like? You're in the shoes of the selector.
Yes.
Like
no, I'm too scared to drop Steve Smith.
Right. So
Marnus has to
you're
go.
saying like rationally, Steve Smith should be dropped.
Yes.
But you're prioritizing sort of intangible notions of seniority and spirit from the nation that you just can't drop the all-time great.
Yeah, I think Smith, who batted okay in this game. I thought he looked pretty ordinary, but he hit 63 red.
I think the fact he bats 4 and Marnus bats 5 suggests the thinking.
But I think at the moment,
order.
I think over the last year almost, Marnus is more likely to score 100 than Steve Smith. But
so you want that bowling option of Stoinis, really. Stoinis' bowling option basically supersedes having both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thinking about playing against South Africa, I feel like the main way to beat... I mean, the truth is that South Africa matches up quite well against Australia and has beaten us most times.
Smashed us.
Yeah. But also it's a semi-final and all sorts of other factors come into play.
Should we even play this game? We all know what's going to happen.
Exactly. If you're like trying to be rational about it, you're probably saying, the strategy against South Africa is to, score heaps and prey on a gas truck. It's true.
That's what you would say.
That's what you would say. This bat first, score heaps, gas truck. If you could really distill it.
Do you want to explain to people who have no idea what you're talking about? Gassies.
Well, that's different.
That's different.
The gas cooker.
Gas cooker.
Yeah.
He's got a gas cooker in his room.
Yeah, a couple of gassies tonight.
He's got 2 gas cookers in his room. A couple of gassies.
No, score heaps. That makes sense. And a gas truck is when the other team takes the gas. They buckle under the pressure of bowling. In Australia, you call that gas truck. So, well, that's what I heard. Anyway, so hopefully you bat first. So scoring heaps. How do you score heaps there? The thing is, like with Mitch Marsh, for example, they were saying. A lot of people are like, well, he hasn't scored a lot of runs at number 3. I reckon that's an overrated call. It's true that he hasn't scored a lot of runs at number 3, but basically you've got him there because it's just power play overs. If he gets enough power play overs, Mitch Marsh is effectively an opener. So
his innings last night was exactly why he's batting 3. Because Travis Head goes up trying to bomb one to fucking the other side of the country. And then Marsh comes in and just continues on with Head's plan.
So Australia really load up on power play runs with those 3. And then that's probably why you have 2 anchors sitting underneath if it doesn't really work. You know what I mean? So like it's a bit of a rob Peter to pay Paul situation. I kind of personally like Smith and Marnus there as insurance in that situation.
I like it as well. But what is interesting though, if it goes so well at the top and then you've got Smith and Marnus on the side, then you find Marnus sliding right the way down to like 8, as was against Pakistan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously Maxwell comes back in the side.
Yeah.
But with Stoinis, like Stoinis isn't in the side for his batting to score 80. He's in the side to try and score 40 off 20.
Yeah.
Which is what Marnus and Smith can't do. They can't often when Marnus especially when he scores 800, he'll be 80 off 120, but he might finish 120 off 130, whatever. Yeah.
So Marnus is missing out.
Yeah.
We're saying and one thing you can do in that situation is like Marnus can miss out as the bat, but he can spend 50 overs in the field. Someone will just sort of pick up a little, the old
it's a little bit tight.
So Marnus has to field 50 overs.
Fuck, how many guys are cramping up in this World Cup? I mean, I guess it's
not enough salt licks for the horses.
Yeah. Do you want to read out some stats?
Fucking hell, let's go.
It's time for Cricket.com's Stat Dog.
We're getting to the end of the tournament.
Yeah. Stat Dog.
Did you actually see Speed, Show Speed reacting to
Maxwell? Yeah. Don't actually remember Brad Coley ever scoring 300. He's wrong. He's wrong and dumb. This last bit's so sexual.
He's a good little boy.
So sexual, that last bit,
isn't it?
People Sunday morning just having their avocado toast.
Okay,
chilling their face off now.
Most 50 plus scores for Australian World Cups. David Warner joins Ricky Ponting on 11, and so does Steve Smith, who joins both Warner and Ponting on 11.
Undroppable.
Now, highest score for Australia in a World Cup innings. Glenn Maxwell obviously has number 1, 201 not out. Mitch Marsh goes to number 3 with 177 against Bangladesh.
Behind Watto, 185.
No, that wasn't in a World Cup.
That wasn't in a World Cup, my apologies.
David Warner, 178 against Afghanistan in 2015, so he's one off there.
Okay.
Mitch Marsh. Highest scores for Australia in all ODIs for non-openers. Mitch Marsh goes to second highest score from a non-opener in an ODI, but given that the highest was like a couple of days ago, 72 hours before that.
Yeah. I'm not really feeling anything for me there.
Yeah, that's right. Australia's first successful chase of 300 plus in the World Cup. In their previous match, they chased 292 against Afghanistan, the highest before today. So again, a couple of days ago, it was probably a bit better. So whatever.
Yeah. Suddenly need a belt around my neck and a bag over my head now to feel something. Desensitized to everything after what Maxwell did. Get a fucking belt around my neck, bag over my head,
right. Well,
tangerine in my mouth.
A lot of people are saying,
turn me over, go to work.
A lot of people are saying, like, I saw Gilly say this on his podcast. I don't know what it's called, but that they'll tell you. But I saw him say that like Maxwell's innings might have saved the format. But I think what the point you're making is that like we can end it now, especially if India wins the thing. Yeah. Like if you're going to need a bag over your head and a belt around your neck and a tangerine in your mouth to get up for any game after that, then there's a health risk. You know what I'm saying? We're actually completing this format. Truly, completion. It's brought us to completion. All right, hashtag AskTGC. A bit different today, he goes. This one, I'm going to give you a choice. Okay, so here's the official one.
Yep.
Dan Baby 2740 says, Ask TGC, this is based on a comment you had mentioned in a previous video. Even a World 11 will not be able to play against this Indian team. My question is, if you're able to choose a World 11 from the other teams in this tournament, who would your players be? One caveat, you can only choose 2 players from each team. Now, I included that question because I wanted to continue on the new segment of how do you bring this back to India again. The other choice I'm giving you today is, this is from my_father_ so you understand this underscore. My father, sorry, I am lying now. Whose question is, well, it's not a question. My father, sorry, I'm lying now, says, hashtag AskTGC, your mum is my girlfriend. So which would you prefer to accept? The floor is yours, Mr. Higgins.
Well, I've got no interest in picking, only 2 players from each team. So let's discuss that guy now being my stepfather.
Yes. Well, girlfriend, they're not married yet.
Well, but things are going pretty well.
Things are going well.
I mean, sexually, she's being satisfied in ways that she's never could only possibly have imagined.
My father, sorry, I'm lying now.
I'm hearing things from the next room like, are you okay there, Mum?
I'm glad that at my father, sorry, I'm lying now, he's in a relationship, albeit with my mother.
Just typing that into a keyboard.
Yeah, there's underscores in between each word.
Just watch a video, about 20 odd minutes.
Yeah.
I know what this needs.
That's right. Just watch the whole thing. So, all right. Here we go. I know it. Sitting down like Beethoven, Here we go. Your mom is my girlfriend. What do you do for work, Dad?
All right. Well, that's what happened in that game. When did the final start? When's the Australian South Africa?
Wednesday is India versus New Zealand. Thursday is Australia South Africa.
All right.
A couple of reserve days knocking about as well.
Okay.
Rain forecast for Kolkata on both days of the game. South Africa finishes above Australia and would proceed, but you only need 70 overs in the game, and we all know what's going to happen in this semi-final.
Exactly.
No, we don't.
Yeah, exactly. All right, plenty more happening on the channel. There's obviously the review for England and Pakistan coming later on today. There's also, we'll be reviewing the final game of the group stages, India, Netherlands. That's going to come out tomorrow. The main podcast is obviously coming out later this week as well. And that's when we get into the finals. And then the big dance. And also after the big dance, within the World Cup final. So if you are new to TGC, click subscribe, follow us and support us along here. And we'll see you guys on the internet later today.